Noticed.
Yes, Your Honor, it has.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kavieski.
Here.
Alderman Miller.
Here.
Alderman Rozak.
Here.
Alderman Shaw.
Here.
Alderman Ellis.
Here.
Alderman Schmidt.
Here.
Alderman Zwart. Alderman Stray.
Here. First item is approval of the meeting minutes from February 6, 2018. We need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. Next item is comments and suggestions from citizens. If anybody has anything that they'd like to say, please come up to the podium. There's blue cards there if you'd like. Paulette, you filled yours out already? Yep, you're the only one.
Good evening. Tonight I'm speaking for Devlin and myself, not as eloquently as he does, but he's at a wine tasting, so that took precedence. Today I was told, whether it's true or not, I don't know, that there are plans in the works for a permanent beer garden in the Village Green. I was surprised to hear that, but we've been out of town a lot, so I haven't been able to keep up through the newspapers. We think a beer garden might be a good idea, much like Estabrook in Milwaukee. My kids go there all the time. But we think it should be in Fowler Park. There's already a facility there, or it could possibly, in our opinion, be behind Park and Rec, near where there's already playground equipment. Both of those places would be close enough for a family to migrate downtown for something to eat after having a beer or two. We hesitate to even think of a temporary facility placed on Village Green for the summer, as we're concerned that before you know it, someone would want to make it a permanent structure. The Village Green costs the city a boatload of money, and it's prime real estate. But now that it's there and it's open, we think the city should leave it as it is. We have paid too much for it just to be filled up again. Now, I have to bring up restrooms. Restrooms on the green, I know they keep being brought up, and we think that they would be an absolute eyesore, no matter the architecture. They would just invite trouble in that area as a standalone building. We believe that if more restrooms are needed downtown, they should be placed directly connected to the back of this current city hall. Plumbing would be easily accessible, and we think restrooms at the back of this building would be less inclined to invite nefarious behaviors. There should also be a sign near the Village Green that notes public restrooms are a block away at the new and seldom used rec building, the library, city hall, the new police department, the 2 downtown malls, and any store that wants to open their restrooms to the public. We're guessing that Park and Rec would be responsible for restrooms and the beer garden. I guess that's actually a question, but I know you can't answer it. But if that's the case, let's consider using the money that would go for that to pay for the lifeguards and the upkeep of our beaches. That way we can welcome residents and guests to our beaches. And with a free beach, the guests would have a sense that Oconomowoc is truly grateful that they have come to enjoy our lovely city and all that it offers. That was going to be the end. I was done. But after I sat in at the council, part of the council of the whole meeting, I have to, Deb always tells me to focus on one thing. You can only, but I have to address, we might be out of town at the next city council, so I have to bring this up. Deb and I are both 71 years old, and youth centers were in vogue when we were teenagers, and they started them, and they failed. I have youth centers, in our opinion, just do not go. We have sent you all letters and got responses back from many of you, but I just want to reiterate. Maybe your kids are different than ours, but our kids would have said, Mom, Dad, we're going to the youth center. And then they would have met up their friends there and gone off and done something else. Our sense is, no matter how good your kids are, they're not going to go there and stay there. If they want video games, they have those at home. If they want a bowling alley, the city can't afford to do those kinds of things. As I said to all of you, Austin, Minnesota has this fabulous YMCA, and they have partnered with United Way and the businesses in town, and the city is not involved financially at all, according to what we have talked to them about. There are no questions asked. If I come into the Y and say my son needs a membership, and Deb and I only make $42,000 a year, he will be given a membership for $1 a year. That was in the I sent you all that information. I love our YMCA, but I feel it is not maybe meeting up to the original purpose of a YMCA, to embrace our youth and keep them out of trouble. I think that the Y should look into maybe getting some business members, embrace United Way funding, and this should be some project that the YMCA does to keep our kids involved. And it should be done for a nominal fee, the most that they pay in Austin, Minnesota. I realize I don't live there anymore, but they had a really good program, and it's been in effect for over 30 years. The most you can pay a year for your child is $60 a year. And if a private business or whomever brings in a youth center, if they start asking me to pay $20 a month for my child, and I have 3 children, I can't afford that. So that's our opinion on a youth center. Thank you for listening to me. Please reread the letters, the emails that were sent to all of you, and consider some other options. I'm not trying to be old and saying, you know, the person that votes against new schools and against all that. We firmly believe that we don't want to grow old and not embrace our youth. But in our opinion, a youth center that the city is involved with in any way is not the way to do it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Seeing none, we will move on. Next item is the consent agenda. Tonight we have 2 items. One is licenses. The second is a resolution approving amendments to 2018 budget for continuing appropriations. And we need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to pull out item B out of that and vote
Okay.
on that separately.
So the consent agenda would consist of licenses initially. Need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the licenses. Any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Shaw.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt.
Aye.
Alderman Stray.
Aye.
Okay, now we'll take up the resolution approving amendments to the 2018 budget for continuing appropriations. We need a motion to approve the amendment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Open for discussion. Matt?
Yeah, I think as a policy issue for myself when we're voting to amend the budget, especially with this amount of money, I think it's something we should talk about separately, even if it's just for 30 seconds. Lori and the other staff members answered all of my questions at the committee meeting, so I think I'm pretty up to speed. I just want to note for the record that we're going to try to get that furniture put out at the boardwalk, which is a good idea. I think that's a great use of the savings from the budget. I continue to be concerned about how much money we're setting aside for outside consultants for the comprehensive plan, but that's a battle for me on another day, I guess. But other than that, we have $141,000 in savings, and we're trying to use it for items from the last year, and I think it's just something that should be an open session and vote. So,
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any other comments or concerns? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
aye.
Alderman Shaw.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt.
Aye.
Alderman Stray.
Aye.
Okay, under committee reports, public services, first item is consider act on resolution adopting the 2018 street improvement program. We need a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved. Second.
Mark?
Thank you, Mayor. The item before you tonight is for our 2018 streets. Includes quite a bit of utility work. We've been working with the council and on the design of this for quite some time now. We received 3 bids. Low bid from DF Town-Assini of $3.948 million. We had an alternate bid for resurfacing and taking care of binder repair on Old Schoolhouse Road for $56,000. We saw significant savings in our pulverize and overlay portion of the bid, and because of that, we're requesting to do additional streets out in the Orchard subdivision to use up some of those, to utilize those funds to keep us moving forward on getting more and more streets resurfaced that we can. And by action of change order and the alternate bid and the base bid, we're looking at a project of $4.254 million, which also includes a $175,000 transfer from the reserves in order to complete the storage yard project in a one-time construction event versus phasing it over two.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Jeff?
Mark, I forgot to ask you at committee, the North Lapham Street, with the recent rains and everything else that we had, there was some flooding and some additional pumping that was going on because of water flow there. Will there be some minor grading to address some of those issues?
We'll look at grading, but it was the town of Oconomowoc that was pumping. It
Okay.
wasn't anything in the city. There was one parcel up there that I stopped at and visited with. Unfortunately, that parcel just sits low, and the properties behind that drain into it. There's some things that they can be doing on their property. If we don't have a lot of elevation up there in order for be doing stormwater work, but anything that we could do, we would. But like I said, it was the town of Oconomowoc that was actually pumping into our system.
But that was right across from the city addresses, right? I mean,
Yeah, it was down. It could have looked like it was city, but it was town.
okay. And then I guess the other question was, some of those catch basin areas there are much lower than the pavement. There's some pretty good dips there. Will that be alleviated or addressed at
We'll look
all?
to see what we can do there. I mean, it was not a very, well thought out transition between the road that was probably then in the town and where the city ended, so.
And I know we're not going to do a ton up there, but that is, part of our posted bike path, as you and I have talked
Yep.
about quite a bit before. So I'm really glad we're doing that, and I just want to double check on those. Thank you.
Alderman Kaliaski?
I'm really excited to see the amount of activity going on with improving our infrastructure. As the increased volume associated with that, I would ask that we put together the timeline and the areas being improved and put that on the website and be more proactive with communication to the general public in regards to when those are going to occur for the inconveniences that will be associated with that. And I think I believe, for example, we have a lane closure coming up near Eagles Landing and Park.
And we actually have a meeting that's set up to discuss that next week, so
Yeah.
once we know that. But to address your other comments, once this is approved, we will put the information out on the website. One of the problems we have is until we do the pre-construction meeting with the contractor, which comes after the award, that's when we find out their scheduling. We did include in the Park and Rec flyer that's going out, all the streets that we were going to be doing. We send out a letter to all the individual properties along the streets. The ones that are having the water main and the complete reconstruction, we'll also set up a public information meeting, which we'll hold here at City Hall in order to answer any questions and discuss the project with them. The pulverize and overlay streets, we just let them know that it's going to happen because it's, there's never no convenience with the street project, but it's a minimal one, and we're only just doing the surfacing. So we'll make them aware of it and then provide them contact information if they have any issues or concerns during the project.
Perhaps to that direction, though, maybe there could be an icon associated with the homepage of the website, for example, that you could see everything consolidated. The notification to the individual homeowners in the affected areas, I believe, has been done very well in the past, but it affects multiple people.
And we
in the city.
also, we do weekly construction meetings, and after that meeting, we update the website for that, so. Thank you.
Matt?
Yeah, one of the questions I didn't ask was, we're reconstructing and doing water mains and sewer on Pleasant between Walnut and Fowler. Does that road need to be done along with the rest of Pleasant Street, or are we just doing it because we happen to be there?
No, the surface is in need of repair, so
Okay.
since we're right here and able to take care of that infrastructure, it's one of the ways that you save money, because if a contractor doesn't have to move in and out to get to different areas of the city, you get a cost savings in getting the project done.
The road storage stuff, where's the road storage currently? Is it over at Roosevelt?
Yes.
It's hard for me to keep my hackles up on something for long. for 3-4 years, but I still, the tennis court thing still bugs me because we built the cold storage, we spent all that money from reserves, we're spending more money to move the road storage now, which basically is just a yard, right, to park the trucks in, right?
No, it's a yard where we take our materials. It's utilized throughout all the city departments, utilities when they're digging or having any construction projects. It's kind of a holding area for
So you
our
drop
materials.
off dirt or debris?
Dirt,
and-
debris,
okay.
wood chips, concrete, asphalt, all of that goes there. We do our snow storage there once the frost is in the ground, so it provides an area for snow storage. As you mentioned, it's an area that, we've been talking about for quite some time, and the original discussions were expansion of the park. And so at some point in time, and this goes back, 10, 12 years, that the city actually went out and bought that land to move the storage yard to get it out of that area in order for the park to eventually expand.
And I'm obviously the outlier on council on it, but it still bugs me that we spent a lot of money and we moved this stuff and the tennis court's still out there. It's probably a good idea to move the area to store that junk outside of the park. I get that.
Residents of the area really are ready to get
And-
that stuff gone.
And certainly, I think that's a different discussion, but we did a lot of spending and we built a new cold storage building and we still don't have the tennis court or whatever, and we don't even know what's going on with it. So I'm going to still vote for the project. That's just one of those things that still sticks with me and probably will until I'm off of council and maybe even after. So
At the end of Jefferson, there seems to be some sort of a water main issue going on. I was driving there today and I see a flag up. There's some, I gather there must have been some digging of some sort.
I know, right on the curb.
Jefferson
and Pearl.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a water main break there a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
and so it's just temporarily filled, and then when we can get material and the weather's better, we will go in and patch that.
Okay, so it's a weather thing at this point?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because I didn't see it on here. I didn't know if this was part of that or whatever.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
There's quite a few of those around the city after all the water main breaks we've had this
Have
year.
there been a lot?
Yeah, there's been several water main breaks, so there's several areas that need to be patched.
Okay.
But we have to wait for the weather to get better.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or concerns? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
aye.
Alderman Shaw.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt.
Aye.
Alderman Stray.
Aye.
Okay, under old business, we have one item, consider act on ordinance amending sections 21.18, paren 3, paren 4 of the municipal code relating to ice fishing regulating. This is for its second reading by title only.
I'll move to adopt the ordinance.
Second?
Moved and seconded. This now does not refer to ice fishing, it refers to ice safety, whatever we call it. Any comments or concerns or questions? All the updates were done to the ordinance correctly? Correct?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Shaw.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt.
Aye.
Alderman Stray.
Aye.
Okay, next item under new business, consider act on offer to purchase street to be vacated, which is Rockwell Street. We need a motion to approve the offer.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Do you want to?
Well, we had indicated what the council's preference was as it relates to reducing the price. That got communicated to council for the parties in question. We received an offer to purchase last Thursday, and I prepared on Friday a counter offer that is in your packet. I believe that the offer is perfectly acceptable in terms of what you laid out as what you wanted. The only concern I had was the fact that this street has not been vacated yet, and it's a little bit of a complicated process in that until it's vacated, we can't sell it. And there are abilities of individuals to come in here and make objections to it, and so I want to make it very clear that this deal doesn't happen unless we actually are successful in vacating the right-of-way. And that's what the counter is all about, and I've talked with their lawyer about it, and I'm quite certain that they'll accept it, and so we're ready to go.
Questions? The process for that will commence once this once we vote on this, and then that goes to Plan Commission, then comes back to us.
Yeah, there's a 40-day time frame, Class 2 notice, and I also suggested in the counteroffer that we move the date back in order to allow sufficient time for all of that to transpire
It'll be a process that starts whenever Jason gets on the agenda,
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
No, I just want to thank the city attorney for his work on this. We've kind of forced you to go back and forth here on this a few times.
I get
And I
paid
just,
for
I
it. Don't
appreciate
have to
your work
ask-
on it.
don't have
Thank
to
you.
thank me.
Any other comments or questions?
We thank him when we approve his budget item for city attorney every year.
Right, right. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this offer to purchase. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Shaw.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt.
Aye.
Alderman Stray.
Okay, staff reports. Tonight we have Department of Economic Development and Tourism Annual Report Update from Mr. Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor.
You have 5 minutes.
That's what I'm hearing. Do the best I can. Thank you for the opportunity to share an overview of our efforts in tourism, community outreach, and economic development. From the tourism perspective, in 2017, we successfully implemented our Tourism Commission, which was a requirement by Act 55 of the Wisconsin, by the state of Wisconsin. From a tourism perspective, we received $423,000 in room tax revenue. This is a slight increase from previous years and about $28,000 over budgeted projections. The city continues to collaborate with the chamber in putting together a community guide. We distribute about 18,000 of those guides on an annual basis. Economic Development is the one who purchased the Adirondack chairs for people to sit, to create gathering spaces, add to the experience, and create downtown as a continued destination. In collaboration with parks, we continue to promote events, trails, and annually contribute funds to improve the downtown planting beds, as well as the holiday lighting to make downtown a special place. Another component is the continued promotion of downtown Oconomowoc. We promote that as a place to shop, dine, and gather. Oconomowoc is also now becoming the go-to community for events in the Lake Country area. Another element we work with is the city website, which continues to become a vital tool in making information available to your constituents and our residents. Our website saw a slight decrease in visits for 2017. We believe some of that has to do with more of our calendar events being on the Facebook page and not necessarily them going to the website. So it is a little bit puzzling to us given the fact that we've now placed all of our agendas and packets on the website, so we're going to continue to look at that. Interestingly, although our visits were down and in internet time, so you'll see that a page duration of 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we've actually seen an increase in about 20 seconds of amount of time people are on on our pages. So in internet time, 20 seconds is a lot when we ask for the information that we want and that bounce rate and some of those elements as well. Currently have 684 pages of content, and then we have all the departments have staff trained to be able to keep that information current for all of us. We're also seeing an increase in mobile utilization of our website. So decrease in the use of PCs and laptops and the increase of mobile devices. So that proves when we updated our website that was the right move to do for the people looking for the information. Talked a little bit about Facebook, as that's been beneficial to reach another sector of our population who used that as their information source. 2017, our page saw a 31% increase in those that follow our page. Continues to be a proactive approach to highlighting images, activities, and information about our community, encourage community engagement, as well as an attraction tool for visitors and residents to find out what's going on. The loan pool has been a success in attracting new businesses to Oconomowoc. In 2017, we had 6 new loans that were issued. In total, we've done 31 that have issued 31 loans since 2010 and $743,000 to entrepreneurs starting new business in our community. 2017, due to the success of the downtown pool, City and First Bank expanded the program outside of downtown to include East Wisconsin Avenue and the Summit Avenue area corridor. So we hope to see more applications in the future. We also do facade grants. 2 facade grants were funded in 2017. We currently have 3 who have approached us already in 2018. So it's been a very successful program. Since that began, it's provided grants in the total of $153,000, which has spurred $750,000 of improvement in the downtown buildings. The result of the program has been for every $1 public dollar we've spent, there's been $5 in private investment for downtown Oconomowoc. So tremendously beneficial for our tax base in downtown. These aesthetic improvements outwardly display how revitalized and vibrant our downtown has become. 2017, 2 TIF districts were created, TIFs 5 and 6, to facilitate needed residential growth consistent with our downtown plan and the creation of a sustainable and vibrant downtown. Currently, there's $70 million worth of investment being constructed in our downtown as we speak. I conducted a TIF 101 educational session for the community and those interested to better understand the financing tool that exists to be able to make these types of projects. As a result of that, I was also asked to serve on a TIF panel for Waukesha County and UW Extension to train Waukesha County area plan commissioners about the use of the TIF tool. The economic development and community development staff, I have the ability as a one-person department and do rely on other resources of the city. Both Christy from the planning department and Paige assist me in many of the things I do as it relates to whether it's downtown or community promotion. But we serve as representatives of the city for various organizations, as well as served as mentors through the Oconomowoc High School program that they started this year. We appreciate that opportunity to build relationships, connect with community organizations, gain insights, and develop those partnerships to be able to continue to create an improved community. So the Tourism Commission has been active since it was creation, and for 2018 we were looking at various projects, as you can see. Murals, we hope to see the first mural going up here in spring. When it hits 50 degrees, we can start working on some of those. Promotional video we've been taking at events to be able to enhance some of our promotional efforts here in the community. We had some out doing video during Chili Fest, as well as a tourism-specific website. At the end of last year, we actually purchased visitoconomowoc.com. We will create a separate website solely for tourism and promotion here in the community. We're continuing discussions with the property owners regarding the revitalization of the former Olympia area. We met with them today. It's been an interesting process trying to get them together, so we were able to do that. They appear optimistic related to the market-based approach of the better utilization of their property and the opportunity for a public-private partnership between the city and them as landowners and developers. Downtown wayfinding signage has been in place for about 10 years. We currently have new facilities that have been added, so we're looking to replace those as well. In 2018, we believe a major facade project may be ready to proceed. So we created last year the facade loan and grant program. So I may be back to you in the near future about those programs and the opportunity to be able to help a significant prominent building in downtown Oconomowoc. So with that, as you can see, our residents are those that benefit through the many initiatives that are implemented through economic development and community efforts. We bring a lot of people to these activities, events, not just tourists, but also residents, as well as attract people to want to live here. So thank you for the Common Council for your support on these initiatives. It's been a pleasure to serve the city, 16 and a half years now, and being part of the prosperity and growth that has occurred.
Thank you, Bob. Alderman Stray almost had a heart attack when he saw
There was
the
a horse on there. I
saw the horse. He didn't like it.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, how are we going to, in your budget, how are we going to recoup that $100 and some thousand from Olympia?
Well, Olympia's room tax has actually been declining. We had a tourism commission meeting yesterday. We're going to monitor some of that. We do believe some of it's going to shift to existing properties, but what we're also going to do is watch the budget of the Tourism Commission to be able to make sure we're not spending more than we're receiving. And that's been a process that we've done ever since I know I've been here, watching those room taxes and not spending or obligating any more that we see coming in. We track that on a monthly basis. Those receipts come through the finance department, and we are tracking that on a monthly basis.
And of the 31 people that you've loaned out there, has anybody defaulted at all? Or?
We have defaulted or are no longer in business.
Well, either or. I don't know.
I'm aware of from the bank, there's 2 that defaulted. We've had 4 that are not in business, 2 of which who closed but paid off their loan.
So 2 out of 31, that's not bad.
And those are obligations of the bank, not necessarily the city.
Yeah, good for them.
Jeff?
Bob, I think we've got a lot of really good things going, and great report, very good job. The one thing that, I don't know if it's going to be included in the new tourism section, but that I've had a couple of requests on, has to do with a lot of our businesses offer entertainment, and it's not always real readily available to the public. Will that be tied into this, or will they be able to link to it to get that information up there?
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're hoping to do. I mean, one of the challenges that we've had operating just a city website per se is that we've been very cautious about what do we promote as it relates to could it be promoting a private business versus, and again, forgetting different types of activities and events. How we envision the tourism website is to include those types of things. We're going to need to create a process in which they feed that information to us for us to be able to upload it to our website. That's part of the conversations we're going to have as we develop the site.
And I know there were some issues before when it was just the city website, but just from people that I know that we've had come in to visit us, they always are looking ahead to see what's available, what's there going to be to do. And I had that again the other night where there were several businesses had bands and different entertainment and stuff going, but people were questioning how to get to that information. So thank you.
We'll readily request it. A lot of it, they need to be able to be proactive as well to share that information with us.
I'd like to thank you for all of the effort and time that you put into promoting the city. I've gotten a chance to work with you in a different level over the last year as being part of council and trying to recruit business and get attention to the city, and you've been very helpful and responsive to that, so I want to thank you on behalf of District 2 and as individual. I like to see all the activity going on. The creation of the separate website, I think it will be really beneficial, and perhaps you can take a look at a mobile app associated with that particular side of things, as the mobile and tablet devices have increased and PC have decreased. It's kind of the go-to direction.
We have tried one in the past, so again, that was something we did several years ago. Again, were we ahead of our time? I don't know. And
Probably.
that's something we'll continue to explore as those, again, this whole technology thing is changing, shifting from Facebook now to Instagram and Snapchat and some of those things. We have some of that, it's just.
Yep, resource and time.
Any other questions for Bob? Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Any other comments?
Yes.
Any other staff reports, I should say?
Yes, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome and introduce to you our new wastewater operations manager who's here tonight, Kevin Freiberg. If you would stand up and give a wave to the council. Kevin joins us. He started yesterday. He joins us from the city of Watertown, where he managed the water and wastewater operations there. So we're very excited to have Kevin join our team. And if you get a chance, please introduce yourself and welcome him to our City of Oconomowoc team. Thank you.
Welcome, Kevin. Okay, any other comments? Any other staff
Nothing else
reports?
this evening.
Reports and comments from the mayor. I have nothing this evening. Reports and comments from aldermen. Seeing none, we need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.